Hey Core Life, it's Lauren Melton here, registered dietitian at Core Life in Odenton and host of Eating Well with Core Life. Thanks again for joining me today. We are going to talk about pantry fat staples today. But before we get started, I want to remind you that even though our clinics are temporarily closed, you can still meet with your care team through a telehealth visit and track your progress using Core Life's app and remote patient monitoring program. So if you haven't been taking advantage of that yet, there is still time. You can just give your local office a call or send us an email and we'll get you scheduled. Okay, so like I said, today we're talking about my fats that I keep in my house. I don't really ever go out of my way to add fat to any of my meals unless it's something particular, which I'll show you in a moment. I usually can get, where I need from fat just by normal food, but there are some foods that I keep in my house that are just fat sources. So I wanted to show you those because like we talked about before in the macronutrient series, the quality of your fats is very important. So you want to make sure that you're having high quality fats, or you're having foods that contain high quality fats. So I kind of wanted to show you what I keep in my house to make sure that I get my heart healthy fats every day. Okay, so the first one, kind of obvious. If you cook at all, sometimes you need oil to cook with. So I usually keep extra virgin olive oil here. So this is a really great heart healthy fat. Everybody hopefully knows that and has some sort of this in their house. The only time I don't use this is if I'm like sauteing something at really high heat. This has like a pretty low smoke point, so your kitchen will get really smoky. And I set the fire alarm off in my house a lot, so sometimes I'll use canola oil or something. But for the most part, if I'm roasting or I need oil for anything, it's going to be olive oil that I use. Second, a lot of people ask about butter. So butter is a saturated fat, not super great for your heart. So what the heck do you use instead? So one thing that I like to buy is something like Smart Balance or Earth Balance or something like that. This is pretty much just a butter that's made with vegetable oils. So it has pretty much, for the most part, all heart healthy. It's a little bit of saturated fat, but there's some polyunsaturated and monounsaturated there. So you're getting some healthy fats there, whereas with regular butter, you're not really getting any. So I try to use this. Again, all these fats use in moderation because, as we talked about before, fats give you 9 calories per gram instead of the 4, like protein and carbohydrates. So things like with oil or butter, you really want to watch your portions on those. Another one I talked about yesterday, or a couple of these I talked about yesterday on the protein, eggs. Although eggs are a great source of protein, like we talked about yesterday, in the whites and the yolks do contain some fat. So you can get some fat from there, and it's not necessarily bad. So that's a good place to get some fat as well. The other one, and I told you it was going to show up again, peanut butter. Like I said yesterday, peanut butter is a fat with some protein here. So this is going to be one that does have some heart healthy fats. So there's 16 grams of fat in 2 tablespoons. Only 3 of it is saturated. So you're getting 13 grams of heart healthy fat there. Again, portions. Or another thing that I use if I'm making a recipe that calls for peanut butter, I think I've told you before, my husband's allergic to peanuts, so I can't use it. So something I'll use is sun butter, which is pretty much sunflower seed butter. I get the no sugar added one, pretty much the same when it comes to peanut butter, just a different source. Still equal amounts of fat in here almost. So this is a good alternative source if you can't have peanut butter or can't find it or something like that. So those are my nut butters. Almond butter also really works. I don't have any right now because it's expensive, but that's a good one. Continue on nuts train. Almonds are a great source. These are a great snack. It does give you some good protein in here, but mostly, again, nuts are going to be pretty fatty. So this is a good spot to get some of your heart healthy fats for the day. So this is good added into, like the yogurt we talked about yesterday, or just as a snack with some fruit or anything like that. Another one you may not think, chia seeds. Chia seeds are good pretty much in anything, smoothies. Yogurt gives you a little bit of crunch. All heart healthy fats here. I think it says even on the, naturally occurring omega-3s, which are going to be your heart healthy fats. So this is something that you might want to include if you're needing a little bit more fat, if you're trying to balance out those macronutrients. And then last but not least, this isn't the prettiest, but avocados. I cut this one in half and it's been in this Tupperware, which is why it's a little brown. But avocados are one of those things that when you add it to something, you know that you're just adding straight fat, but they're so delicious. Again, all heart healthy fats, no saturated fats there. It's a plant base, so it's going to be a pretty good source. You can use it, you know, avocado toast in the morning. You can add it to tacos, make guacamole. I mean, it's very versatile. Some people, you know, there's even some recipes going around out there when they put them in brownies, and I will say it's pretty good. So those are my favorite fat items. Other things you could also include, cheeses. Those have, you know, a decent amount of fat and protein. So that's another way to get some of your fats in for the day. But these are the ones that I typically see throughout the day the most heavily in my diet, and helps me stay within my fat percentages and get some heart healthy fats in. So I hope that gave you some ideas. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave any questions or comments or topics that you'd like us to cover. We are going to keep continuing these videos, so don't worry, we are not going anywhere. Don't forget to check out the cooking demos with Nick and the fitness videos with Corey and some of our other trainers. We love you. We miss you. We hope to see you soon, and we will see you next time. Bye.